Welcome, Shadow Seekers, to American Shadows, Crimes, and Chronicles. Today, we're unearthing a tale that'll haunt your thoughts long after it ends. Whether you're glued to the screen or just listening in, you're in for a wild ride through history's darkest corners. If you're new, hit subscribe to join our mission of exposing America's hidden truths. Regulars, your likes fuel our journey into the unknown. Now, let's peel back the layers of time and reveal the secrets beneath. Ready? Let's begin. July 10th, 1925. Bible verses, science, the courtroom battle that changed America forever. Gather round, folks, because I've got a tale for you that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about the Roaring '20s. We're talking about a courtroom drama that shook the very foundations of American education and ignited a debate that's still raging today. This is the story of the Scopes monkey trial, a battle of ideas that put evolution itself on trial in the sweltering summer of 1925. Picture this. It's July 10th, 1925, and the sleepy town of Dayton, Tennessee, population 1,800, is about to become the center of a national firestorm. The air is thick with humidity and tension as crowds gather outside the Rhea County Courthouse. Reporters from across the country have descended on this small town, their typewriters at the ready. This isn't just any trial. It's a showdown between science and religion, tradition and progress, and it's about to capture the imagination of the entire nation. But let's back up a bit. How did we get here? Well, it all started with a biology textbook and a high school teacher named John Scopes. You see, Tennessee had recently passed the Butler Act, making it illegal to teach any theory that denied the divine creation of man as taught in the Bible, and, specifically, the theory of evolution. The American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, saw this as a threat to academic freedom and put out a call for a teacher willing to challenge the law. Enter John Scopes, a 24-year-old football coach who also taught biology. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Scopes wasn't even sure he had actually taught evolution, but he agreed to be the test case. Why? Well, some say it was for the noble cause of science education. Others argue it was a ploy to put Dayton on the map and boost the local economy. Either way, Scopes found himself at the center of a legal and cultural hurricane. The trial quickly became a media circus. Dayton was suddenly flooded with thousands of visitors. Vendors hawked everything from hot dogs to toy monkeys. It was part legal proceeding, part carnival, and all spectacle. The trial was even broadcast live on the radio, a first in American history, bringing the drama directly into people's homes. But the real draw was the clash of titans in the courtroom. In one corner, we had William Jennings Bryan, three-time presidential candidate and leader of the fundamentalist movement. Bryan was a gifted orator known as the Great Commoner, a man who believed that the Bible should be taken literally and that evolution was a threat to morality and faith. In the other corner stood Clarence Darrow, the most famous defense attorney in America. Darrow was known for taking on unpopular causes and his biting wit. He saw the trial as a chance to defend scientific progress against what he viewed as religious superstition. The stage was set for an epic battle of words and ideas. The prosecution, led by Bryan, argued that the law was clear and that Scopes had broken it by teaching evolution. They painted a picture of evolution as a dangerous theory that undermined religious faith and morality. Darrow and the defense took a different tack. They brought in scientific experts to testify about evolution, arguing that it was a well-established scientific theory that should be taught in schools. But here's the kicker. The judge ruled that scientific testimony wasn't relevant to whether Scopes had broken the law. Talk about a curveball. This led to one of the most dramatic moments in American legal history. Darrow, in a bold move, called Bryan himself to the stand as an expert on the Bible. What followed was a verbal sparring match for the ages. Darrow grilled Bryan on his literal interpretation of the Bible, asking questions like whether Eve was really created from Adam's rib and how Jonah could have survived in the belly of a whale. Bryan held his ground, but the questioning exposed the challenges of interpreting the Bible literally in the face of scientific knowledge. It was a turning point in the trial and in the larger debate between fundamentalism and modernism. The trial also had its moments of absurdity and humor. The courtroom was so crowded that proceedings were occasionally moved outside, where Darrow and Bryan would argue under the sweltering sun, surrounded by onlookers and journalists. The spectacle of two of America's greatest orators debating the origins of life in such a setting added to the surreal nature of the trial. After 8 days of intense legal drama, the jury took just 9 minutes to reach a verdict. Scopes was found guilty and fined $100, about $1,500 in today's money. However, the verdict was later overturned on a technicality. The real impact of the trial was felt far beyond the courtroom. The media coverage, much of it mocking the fundamentalist position, dealt a blow to the anti-evolution movement. Bryan, exhausted by the trial and the ridicule, died just 5 days after it ended. Some say the Scopes trial broke his spirit. But the debate was far from over. The Butler Act remained on the books in Tennessee until 1967. Similar laws were passed in other states. The controversy over teaching evolution in schools continues to this day, with battles over creationism and intelligent design playing out in courtrooms and school board meetings across the country. The Scopes trial left a lasting mark on American culture. It inspired books, plays, and movies, including the famous Inherit the Wind. It became a symbol of the clash between tradition and modernity, faith and science, that continues to shape our national conversation. As we reflect on the Scopes trial, we're reminded that the past is never as black and white as we might like to believe. It's a complex tapestry of ideas, personalities, and social forces that continue to shape our world. It highlighted the tension between tradition and progress, faith and reason, and individual rights versus societal norms. So, the next time you hear a debate about what should be taught in science class, or see a headline about conflicts between science and religion, remember the sweltering courtroom in Dayton, Tennessee. Remember John Scopes, William Jennings Bryan, and Clarence Darrow. Their story reminds us that the questions we wrestle with today have deep roots in our history, and that the search for truth is rarely simple or straightforward. This is American Shadows, folks, where we dive into the dark corners of history and try to shed some light on the events that shaped our world. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and remember, in the great debate of ideas, the verdict is never final.